Alright folks, welcome back to UKSG Blue 2023. This event we're raising money for Crisis. You can donate with the links below the stream. At this point we would like to shout out ESA and BSG for their continued support. Alright, Spence.
Yes.
I am happy to announce that you are gonna be booting up Devil May Cry 3.
Let's do it.
Thank you all for your donations. We had, we'll read this out real quick. We had a $50 donation last minute from Shidohari saying, I need Devil May Cry 3 to be played by professionals that break the game. No guesses as to, no bonus points as to where that went. So, yeah, that's going to be the game we're playing. Take it away, folks.
Thanks very much, guys. Like I said, my name's Spence Speedruns. I'm here with my boy Apache Smash. Welcome to Devil May Cry 3. As you've seen on the bid war, we had no idea what we was going to be playing here tonight. I'm very excited to show off this run because it is literally straight out of the gates, action and non-stop stylish. So I'll let Apache do a little bit of an intro and then we'll get straight into it.
Hi, I'm Apache Smash. I once watched Devil May Cry anime in 140p on YouTube.
Oh, shout out Apache Smash and everyone in this room right now. Give yourselves a massive round of applause right quick. All right, let's do this. So we are going to be running Dante. No tutorials on the gold orb option. That basically means if that we unfortunately do die, we can literally just restart from where we started. Oh, it does this. Time can start now. Apologies.
He was just so excited.
There we go, yeah.
Just so
Sometimes it comes up with like a mission select, but straight away we're going into the style option. We're going to choose Royal Guard, and we're going to explain that around about halfway in the first mission. Hopefully I get this off. There we go. So straight away with Royal Guard, we do something called a gold release. Now a gold release is we counter the attack just before we get hit. And that lets us do that kind of like explodey kind of attack there. So also with Royal Guard, we can cancel literally any animation. So our sword slashes, and when we get it later, the shotgun is going to be completely broken.
Tell how happy you are that you really went the bid war. You were saying just before the run, I really hope it's 3 that wins.
Is that it? Hey, do your job.
So we are hoping for an S rank here. And what's great about mission 1 is unless there's no red orbs there, the mission won't end. Didn't unfortunately get the S rank, but that's not too much of a problem. We can back that up. We got an A rank there. It just means we can't buy Stinger level 2 on mission 3. Well, mission 2 is much of the same as mission 1. It's like a full-on brawl.
So red orbs functions like a currency, right? So you can buy upgrades.
That's correct. So red orbs literally buys us everything from items to moves to upgrades. We really don't get that many upgrades in 3. We mostly buy purple orbs for our devil trigger later on.
And Stinger is the move that
Stinger's
sends
our
you
main
forward,
movement,
right?
yeah.
So it's like for the speedrun, the fastest way of getting around.
Come and get it. You scared?
Does taunting affect your rank?
Yeah, so the stylish rank you see in the corner there. There we go, there's a good gold release. So this is our first boss. It's basically what's going to become a common enemy later on. This is the Hell Vanguard. So we're going to get some perfect blocks to raise that style guard meter in the corner. And then get a gold release on that final counter there. So that should net us the S rank. We're getting a little bit more orbs there. So you can tell what rank you've got with how many gunshots are on the end of the mission there. So if you get a lot of gunshots at the end, you more than likely will have that S rank. So we get a few exposition cutscenes that we obviously skip. I'm going to buy Stinger 1, just because it will come in handy. We won't have the movement capabilities of it just yet, but we'll be running through. But this is a perfect time for any donations or messages that might have come through in the meantime.
Well, thank you very much. I just want to draw people's attention. Now that we have this incentive out of the way, the next one down the road is going to be the 2 players, 1 controller bosses. And Apache, I think you have a bit of vested interest on that one. Because if we meet this one, Apache and the other Scott will defeat the game's bosses in 2-player, 1 controller fashion. Currently, we have $240 out of a $300. So $60 left, and folks, that has been stuck there for quite a while. So let's get some movement there, and hopefully we can get some exciting action going. The other Scott is looking at me. He's smiling very nervously. Let's make him extra nervous. Let's meet that incentive. Back to you guys.
Don't leave Scott to do the bosses on his own.
So like I was saying before, with the guard style, we can cancel any animations. Now, normally when we fire the shotgun, there would be a recovery animation of him cocking it, but with the guard style, we can basically alleviate that. We don't actually have to wait for the shotgun to cock again. So we're just going to get some red orbs here because we didn't get that S rank on mission 1. Just a little bit of a safety buffer with our economy, and then that will let us buy Stinger 2 so we get that movement tech. And we are going to come up to the second boss, which is Cerberus. Now, I know a lot of people, when they first played this for the first time, Cerberus was definitely like a massive difficulty spike when it comes to this game. But I'm going to show you how shotgun cancelling makes it a bit of a pushover. So we're going to use the shotgun to take care of the ice on his head. And then we're just going to basically spam the same combo over and over until he goes down. Our aim here is to get more than 1 head on the main combo. And he's been very unfortunate with those attacks there.
How's that?
There's always got to get some blocks off there if you can. I say you can basically cancel any animation with a block. So even if you're in the middle of a combo, you can get that block off. So you'll see in the top left-hand corner there, I did have a glowing orb. But the more attacks that I block, the more guard meter or revenge meter I do get. And then the higher value of that is the more that we can basically put out as a counter when we release it. We'll level that up as we go along the run, from level 1, 2, and then 3. So the more, obviously, the more revenge value that we do have there means we can basically annihilate some of the bosses in 1 or 2 moves. So this is just another basic room with the worst enemy type in the game, the Enigmas. These will try and snipe us from literally across the room, and they can literally be really annoying. So we get those shotgun cancels off there. Get some nice switch cancels there. So in DMC 3, you can switch your weapons on the fly, unlike in DMC 1 and 2, where you'd have to go into a menu. So you can have 2 guns equipped at any one time and 2 melee weapons. So if you keep seeing the melee come up in the corner, that's basically, we're cancelling those animations to come out of one combo and go into another. It makes it a little bit faster. I am going to try and go for a trick here called Giga Skip. And if I get it, I'm going to skip an entire, basically half of this level, but it is very finicky.
Blast off. Blast off.
So we'll try it. Nope, unfortunately I missed that then. So by utilizing that gold release on on a ledge that we could have gone up on top of there. The game basically wants us to be on the ground, so it'll try and force us to be there. And instead, if you do it on this one here and you get a gold release off the enemy on the side there where I tried to line up, you will go flying off into the side and go out of bounds. And you basically hit the end trigger for this mission.
So do you only get one attempt to do it?
Yeah, so basically there's an enemy that's crouched down on the side, and if he activates, he'll start to move, and we want him to stay still, as we have to aim at him to get the right trajectory. So if he starts moving, then we won't get it. So unfortunately, we will have to fight this boss here, but it's not too much of a drama.
Whenever you have a moment, I'd like to make a quick announcement.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, people seem to have answered the call for donations. I'm happy to announce Apache, the other Scott, the 2-player 1-controller incentive has been met. So congratulations. We've raised $300 for that. I'm sure that is what is. Small round of applause here. Amazing. Lots of people came to aid for that, and we've hit $1,435. So thank you all for your generosity. Let's keep it going, folks, with all of the other incentives. But yeah, it's back to you guys.
Brilliant stuff, guys. Well, this is Gigapede, so this boss can be finicky. So we're going to try and loop him. We're utilizing those guard cancels so we can use Cerberus. Oh, I did a little bit too much damage there, I think. You shouldn't be doing this. Is this the first? This has never happened before?
I literally heard one on the last run.
So this boss is really finicky, which is why it's always handy to try and skip it with that trick from earlier. Because this boss is literally a massive pain. Because he, as you can see there, he randomizes which hole he comes out of. And if he doesn't come out of the one that we want him to, he can put us behind by several minutes. So we're hoping here we'll get lucky and not die.
I think you have about a pixel of health right now, right?
We're currently rolling on 1 HP here. So he is actually weak to Cerberus, which is why we're using the nunchucks a lot more than anything else. But mostly only when we can hit him on his head. So that's why I'm trying to get there, and he's not letting me do it. And I'm dead.
It's really annoying when the boss doesn't want you to kill them.
It's almost like they don't want us to finish this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I learned my lesson from last time. We won't do as much damage as I did. And we'll hopefully get this 2-cycle. And of course, the biggest enemy in any Devil May Cry game is the camera. I have to tell you now, folks, this doesn't normally go as bad as it's going. I'll be completely honest.
I thought it was going well this time. It seemed a lot better than the first time. He's like one hit from death.
Yeah, we were so close then. I might turn this into DMC2 and just start shooting. There we go. Managed to get a little bit of a counter off his electric orbs there.
Perfect, first try.
First try, bossed it, mate. Just go up. Okay, there we go. I guarantee and promise that the rest of the boss fights will go a little bit better than that. That's the one that we hate the most. Well, this is mission 4, where we're going to be introduced to this new enemy type. These gargoyles, if we don't shoot them first, and a little bit of time goes over, they will split. So we want to shoot them and make them go solid as soon as we can. And therefore that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you just wanted to show one, like, so
Just
everyone
wanted to,
knows.
just so everyone knows what's happening.
Yeah.
And of course, because we're playing the special edition, we also get the added Jester fights that they just threw in for no reason. This is where our shotgun cancelling comes in mighty handy, as you can see right there. So we got a little bit of guard meter off one of his orbs there. The rest we don't have to worry about because he will never hit us. Shoot at him just to basically get him into this phase. There we go.
So when you say like cancelling with the shotgun, you're cancelling like the backswing of the animation, so you
Exactly,
can fire
yeah.
it over and
So
over
when
again.
when he goes to reload the shotgun, he kind of like cocks it downwards. And it takes a good couple of frames for it to recover from that. So by guarding in between each one of those shots, we cancel that animation out completely, which lets us basically use it kind of like a bit of a machine gun kind of thing. So we're going to kind of go into a little bit of a puzzle section here. So we've used one item, we're going to get another, which is the Visura. It's just like a little trident. And then we're going to go back into a room that we've already been in. As you know, with Devil May Cry, you know, backtracking is a main staple. That was unfortunate. As you can see as well, once we got the Stinger 2 at the end of Mission 3, our movement is a lot more precise with being able to use that for our mobility. And we get a nice little Stinger launch there going into this fight. So we got basically just another locked room fight. We get a good few enigmas, but they go down pretty easily with one or two combos. And then we've got the last one over here on the corner. Get a little roll so we can come off the edge, and then we already know which way we're going, so we go straight to the door.
Yeah, whenever you say Stinger, that's the main move you're using for movement, right? Where you dive forward with the sword.
Exactly, that's these little like his thrusting ability there. So we're going to go straight back up here where we fought the Gigapede boss. Now we've got something called the Soul of Steel. We can walk on air. Believe me, none of us know how it works either. It just kind of does. And now we're coming to the elevator. Now the elevator is an interesting one. So we're going to get random set spawns of 4 enemies at a time. But if there's more than 6 enemies on the elevator, it will go back down. So our aim is to basically kill them all as quickly as possible, whilst also building a lot of style meter and also getting those red orbs just so we've got a bit of backup.
That has seemed like the main objective of every room so far.
So what's great about the style system is if you hit multiple enemies at once, it really much raises your style a lot, even if you use the same combo.
Sweet, baby.
And you get those nice little taunts from Dante there. And we're coming up to our next boss here, Agni and Rudra. Agni and Rudra, again, is a massive difficulty spike on the casual player. So we're going to utilize shotgun cancelling, and we're going to use releases, but not in the way that we've been using them. So by utilizing a release like that with no energy behind it, it basically acts as its own hitbox, and we can counter their attacks very easily. He says, and then he gets hit. Now our aim here is to make sure that they both die at about the same time, because if they don't, then the other one will get powered up by the other. And there's about a 3-minute long cutscene that we can't skip. Oh, this might be bad. Turn this into DMC2 and just mash that button. There we go. There's that cutscene I was trying to avoid. Here we are. And I think they're literally on 1 HP as well. And there's nothing we can do about this cutscene. We just have to kind of watch it. Hi, boys. There we go.
So it got super powered for literally 1
It
health.
literally went Super Saiyan for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And we also got our guard level up now, so we can block and release in midair. Now, by jumping in this game and rolling, we actually get iframes, which makes it a lot easier to get some perfect blocks and perfect releases off. And this one's a really simple mission. We just need to get two key items. There's not actually that many fights in here. One's like a mobility kind of trial, which is this one with the spikes. And then we've got another one which is more like a puzzle. We just need to know which rooms we're going in. Well, like I say, with those releases, now we can do in midair. It lets us pull off some cool stuff. Like that. Just gives us a little bit of mobility. Enemies are going to spawn, but we're literally going to use them to project ourselves back with the old skateboard in there. Woo! A move that is never featured in any other Devil May Cry game that I can think of right now.
Bring it back.
Hashtag bring back the skateboard and it did nothing wrong. I say this one's literally just a puzzle. We go through the right doors when we get that second essence there. And then we go back to the start and finish this mission. Easily does it. So you can see there's actually a gun on there. If you get all 3 of the trials done, you can pick that up. Otherwise, you can leave it until like mission 16 and the gun's just on the floor. So it's up to you. You can get that extra little essence of, I think that one's actually a fight with devil triggered enemies as well. Or you can just leave it and just come back later on. So welcome to mission 7. This is where we're going to fight Virgil for the first time. We're also going to swap our melee weapons out. So now we have Rebellion and Agni and Rudra. You'll see a common theme in the Devil May Cry games is once you beat a boss, you get them as a weapon. More so in 3 than anything else. So every boss we beat here will give us a new weapon, but we will only be using 4. So we've used Rebellion, which is our sword that we have for Stinger. Cerberus, which was the ice nunchucks from earlier. And then Agni and Rudra, which are fire and wind swords. And the reason we use that is because we're going to do something called jump cancelling from here on in. Every enemy has a hitbox in this game, and we can literally jump off of that hitbox, which resets our combo animations. We're also going to pick up a holy water there. And it lets us basically do that move indefinitely. And it is one of the strongest moves in the game until we get something called the Beowulf Gauntlets a bit later on. And same thing again, we're just going to jump cancel using the dive kick move there. So we get some cursed chest pieces here. And we go through. So this is the jump cancel I was referring to. So we can jump off of the enemy and continuously use the aerial cross move, which is our strongest move in our arsenal right now. We're also going to do that. This is one of the rooms where it's like really good for learning how to do the jump cancelling, but also the worst with those poles. Because the style in this game, they thought will give Dante a pole dancing animation.
I did think you were doing it for points.
So we use a little key item there which opens up this lift. I'm going to go down and use another key item to get another key item. You can see where the inspiration from Resident Evil came from.
No, I thought
key item to key item to key item.
I thought we were playing Resident Evil for a second then.
Just with a lot more stylish action in there.
It's Resident Evil with pole dancing.
Exactly. we're going to hit the switch, which is going to bring a ball of skulls down, which everyone loves to see. And once we smash this open, we're going to get a crystal skull and be forced into another locked room fight. Again, utilising those jump cancels really simply. We want to take that one out first because that one's literally a spawner enemy. Once he puts that coffin on the ground, you'll see the souls kind of coming out of it. If they hit the ground after that, it will spawn more enemies. And depending on what room you're in, depends on what enemies get spawned. And we don't want these ones because they jump around a lot. 2's hard enough to deal with. So even though they are out in the air there, as long as they don't hit the floor and we manage to take that enemy out beforehand, we're golden. We can just move past it. We're going doing that lovely backtracking now. This is a perfect time for any messages, donations, or anything you guys want to say?
I was actually just about to ask you as well. Well, we do have a few donations here. So there's $5 from Anonymous with just a little smiley face, which went towards the 2P1C bosses. And then we also had the $60 that really closed the gap there from Tiny Tim saying, "Hey all, donating for seeing the amazing Apache and the other Scott demolish some bosses together. Cheers." And finally, $20 from Calliope saying, "Thank you for the amazing runs and a wonderful first day of UKSG. I'm excited for what is yet to come. Good luck to the night shift of the tech crew." And that is, originally was going towards the 2P1C, but we were able to shuffle it over to the Baba Is You alternative ending since the prior incentive was already met. But yeah, thank you all for your donations and getting us so far with our donation total. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tim.
So that crystal skull we got before, we're going to use it now, and that's our final key item for this mission, and we're going to go to the first Virgil fight. I'll explain a little bit how Virgil works before getting into it, because it can be quite finicky. So if anyone's ever played a Kingdom Hearts game, they know about revenge values. That's exactly how Virgil works, and apparently I'm buying stuff. So we can hit Virgil 13 times before he'll counter us. So we do a specific set of combos, so with the Rebellion, whilst also blocking his slashes back at us, and also hitting him with a few shotgun cancels just to get his health down a little bit further. There we go.
You did say the fights would go better.
They did, yeah, they really did.
You weren't lying.
So by blocking his attacks like that, we build up that revenge meter, and then we can counter one of his slashes and do a hell of a lot of damage there. We're also going to lose that fight canonically, which is interesting considering you just see me body him. But now we've got access to our devil trigger because he stabs us with our own sword. So we buy 5 purple orbs here. And the reason for that is Devil May Cry 3 has its specific own AoE attack. We call it DTE, or Devil Trigger Explosion. Now you see in the top left there with my health and Devil Trigger underneath it, you see how those 5 orbs after the first 3 are in a different kind of texture? We can charge those for an explosion attack. Obviously the more Devil Trigger we have, the higher the explosion can go. So by utilizing that, we can do a hell of a lot of damage to bosses and even just normal fights in a short period of time. So we're going to just use Devil Trigger there just so we can get some more slashes on the orb cache, so we can get 20k. That's going to let us buy the last purple orb at the end of this mission. Now if you buy a purple orb, you also get full Devil Trigger, which is why we're not going to buy it now, we're going to buy it at the end. And we're going to make our fruit. So we actually got swallowed by a devil called the Leviathan. So we're actually in the Leviathan's intestines, as it says there. And the Leviathan has tapeworms. So we're just going to very quickly run away from that. We're going to try and get some reverse stingers off here. So a reverse stinger is where we stinger but don't lock on. It's very finicky to get sometimes. But when it works, it gets us that little bit more maneuverability. Have you ever skateboarded through a demon's intestines before, Apache?
Not yet. Maybe one day.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a puzzle. So what we have to do is basically generate enough red orbs that will get sucked into the middle, whilst also building guard. There's that Devil Trigger explosion I was explaining earlier. If you're getting swarmed by a bunch of enemies, you can charge that up, and it's basically like a get out of jail free in a way. You will lose the Devil Trigger you've charged, but it can be oh, never mind, we got it there straight away. We'll take that. And we got Devil Trigger to spare, which is fine. I don't like my health, so I'm going to grab a backup emergency green orb down here. But it'll come into play in basically near enough every single boss fight, that Devil Trigger explosion, especially when we've got a full stack. Now you utilize that with a gold release, you can decimate a boss's health down to about 50% in one combo. Just utilize the last of that Devil Trigger there just to get a little bit more speed coming out of this little tunnel. And then we're going to go in and use that key item we've just got to activate the boss fight. And like I said earlier, we're going to buy that purple orb, which gives us a full stack. We've got full revenge meter. And we're going to utilize shotgun cancels just to absolutely, completely take out this boss. So I'm holding L1 to charge that Devil Trigger explosion. And you see those orbs that are turning red there? Once they're all lit, that's like a full stack. You see there, I literally took probably about 75% of that health in one phase. There we go.
Clean.
We tried to one phase it there by getting the release off on his little laser attack and the Devil Trigger explosion, but sometimes it works, sometimes you've got 3 frames of maneuverability when you go for a gold release. It looks great when it works, and it looks easier than it actually is. So when you do manage to get it, especially with a DTE there, it's very satisfying to say the least. Welcome to the second worst enemy in the game. If you've got arachnophobia, I'd look away now. But these guys love to jump around, but they're also weak to Agni and Ruja. You see that little animation, extra texture you get when I'm attacking them with that specific weapon. You can actually stagger them with that. I say this. So we're going to fight 2, and then another 2 are going to drop down. So we're actually going to build some guard here. That should be it. There we go. Spiders are probably the worst enemy type in the game because, as you saw, they love to jump around, which is why we use a holy water from every other fight here on out. Little laser puzzle there for you. And we're going to go for another zip here. Now, I know I didn't get the first one, the Giga Zip, which is very inconsistent if you don't know exactly where to stand. But we're going to try and get another one here, and you'll see exactly how the zip works. And it's honestly just very cool. Okay, just block instead. If it doesn't work on this one, I'll give it up as a bad job, I think.
Kind of want to see what it looks like.
The thing with these Enigmas is that their aim is great when they actually want to hit you, but when you actually want them to hit you, they don't.
So you got a stinger like as it hits you.
So you basically have to release just before you get hit, and because we're on the edge of essentially the game's middle plane, it just sends you flying because the game thinks that you need to be on the floor. So we're going to build some guard and get some Devil Trigger back as we go through. Like I say before, because we get the iframes when we're jumping up, it makes it a lot easier to get some perfect blocks off on things like these spikes, these swords, sorry. And every time you do get a perfect block, you get a lot of Devil Trigger and a lot of Royal Guard. I'm going to pick the Ambrosia up, which is going to unlock the boss for this mission. I'm going to fight some spiders again. Because, you know, who doesn't like fighting spiders? That's a little bit better. So you can actually jump cancel off of them like that. Once you get them staggered, it can be a little bit tricky to get them staggered in the first place. Especially when you've got one that's giving you a bit of a cheap shot like that. And then we go for the lovely bit of backtracking. There's a lot of these rooms where you literally kind of have to pick a god and pray when it comes to RNG.
I like how they make you fight through them one way and then fight out of them the other way.
But we're on our way now to our next boss, which is Nevin. Our fan favourite. Couldn't imagine why. If you know, you know. Unfortunately, he wanted to block there, so he didn't get the old skateboard experience. So Nevin's very interesting. She can summon electricity and bats, but we can also completely decimate her with the jump cancels from earlier. We're going to use DTE Explosion as well. So by utilising the roll into the blocks there, it makes it a lot easier to get some perfect blocks off, similarly there. And you can also jump cancel off of her bats. Her bats have a hitbox. Unfortunately, I wasn't actually priming the Devil Trigger Explosion there, so we're going to go for a little bit of an extra phase. There we go.
I'm no expert, but that seemed exceptionally quick.
Normally we do that in about 2 cycles. Getting it on a 3 isn't too bad. But you definitely need to make sure you just basically hold an L1 the entire way through any of these boss fights so you can get that DTE. The only boss fight exception of that is Beowulf, which is going to be our next one upcoming, because he works a little bit differently. So we've got a few expositional cutscenes there. Virgil's going to open up basically the door into the portal of the demon world and try and wreak havoc upon the world, because why wouldn't he? He's not like he's our brother or anything.
We don't care about that. We're working on our skateboarding career.
Exactly. I mean, this was done in PS2, so obviously Tony Hawk, definitely a big inspiration here.
Do we have a moment for a quick donation here?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, we have $10 from Nanaki Emi saying, question for Dan Spence 94. Has he played Final Fantasy 16 May Cry Light? And if so, what does he think of the combat in it? Also, got to be the blindfolded ending. Let's hit that goal, chat. And of course, no bonus points as to where that is going. That is going towards the alternative ending, and that's progressing along nicely. But yeah, Spence, what do you think?
Unfortunately, I haven't had chance to play Final Fantasy 16 yet. I haven't actually had chance to play Final Fantasy 15 yet. I still have it in cellophane. I have the Royal Edition. It's sat in my drawer at home. But from what I have seen, and from what I have heard, it is very Devil May Cry-esque, so I'm sure I'll be interested in it when I eventually get round to it.
What's the weapon you got from the last boss?
So we got Nevin, which is an electric guitar, quite literally. We never use it because it sucks.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be something funny. That's why I had to ask.
Funny little Easter egg whilst I'm fighting these spiders again. The guitar riff that Dante actually plays in 3 when he plays Nevin is actually the guitar riff from Shoot the Works, which is Devil May Cry 2's battle theme. So that's a little tidbit for you. I'm going to use the holy water there. Now what's interesting is we use the holy water to basically kill everything, but their hitboxes is still active. So if you use the holy water like that and taunt, you will still get the added benefits of getting the taunt, which gives us the devil trigger increase and also the style increase. And then we can just blitz our way to the end of that mission. So we're on mission 11. So this is the Beowulf mission that I was referring to earlier. Once we get to that boss fight, I'll explain a little bit more. But right now, we're just going to go through a lot of corridors and basically dodge a few enemies. We're also going to come up to the third worst enemy type in the game. You'll notice this a lot. There's a lot of worst enemy types. I actually don't know what these are called. I just call them ghost demons. Because unless you're not looking at them, they won't appear. So we kind of have to like run up into them and do a little run on the spot. Do a quick jump cancel. And get that aerial cross off like that.
A lot of your movement in this game seems in spite of the camera rather than working
Exactly.
with it.
Like I say, the biggest enemy in all 3 DMC games, probably other than 4 and 5, is the camera. Especially more so in Devil May Cry 1 and 2 because they were still kind of like in that little Resident Evil era. So fixed camera angles are abundant, especially in DMC 1. Now you can imagine a character action game with fixed camera angles doesn't really translate very well. Although Kamiya made it actually work very well. DMC 1 and DMC 2 is a masterpiece. I'll die on this hill. So we got another Hell Vanguard. Do you remember that first boss from the second mission? That's just now a common enemy. Which just basically goes to show that how powerful Dante has become now. That what was considered a boss is now just fodder.
Yeah, the power spikes even per mission are like quite vast.
There we go. I say, very annoying those enemies sometimes because they just no clip out of nowhere. We're gonna grab another holy water that's just chilling down here on its own. You can get the green orb there. If you've got full health, it'll just give you an extra couple of hundred. But if not, it's always nice to have full health. We're gonna go into a bit of a rail shooter section here. We're not gonna shoot a lot, but we are gonna get accosted by quite a few demons on our way to the boss of this mission.
Come and get me.
So the demon world has public transport.
Exactly, it's got its own tube system.
Earlier, when you said he was going to open up a portal to the demon world, I was like, I honestly thought we were already in it, but
So this is Beowulf. Now Beowulf has one eye, and he has a weak spot in his other eye. So we're going to try and use that aerial cross move and essentially jump cancel off him whilst also building guard. It's better to kind of show than to go through because it's tricky. There we go. So we got the gold release on his eye there when he did that little AoE. And you can see how that gold release, whilst in Devil Trigger as well, makes that health bar non-existent. On a good day, that would possibly kill. But unfortunately, I didn't get as many jump cancels off as I'd hoped. And that was Beowulf.
That was keeping up with your promise again of all the fights going well. So that was even.
That was actually a really
one.
good Beowulf, all things considered. Because his move, other than his first opening gambit, is completely random. So for us to try and build guard off of it can be really, really finicky at times. But now this mission is literally a run and gun mission with a boss at the end. We picked a key item up that's going to continuously drain our health, but it's going to give us infinite Devil Trigger. So this is also a perfect time for any comments and donations.
Right, yes. Well, we've hit $1,445 so far, and with your help, we can raise even more for such an amazing cause, which is, of course, Crisis. Well, Crisis is... Well, we are raising money to support Crisis, a charity supporting people out of homelessness for good. They achieve this through education, training, and support with housing, employment, and health. 90% of your donations will go towards supporting Crisis, and 10% will go towards UKSG future events. And let me just give you some numbers here so you can conceptualize what your donations would be going towards. £10 here could provide a warm welcome and help someone take the first steps out of homelessness. Bump that up to £32 and you can help fund one of our support workers to help someone budget and manage their expenses as they settle into their new home. Double that to $64 and you could help provide someone with one-to-one support in finding a secure place to live so they leave homelessness for good. No matter how much you choose to donate, thank you all for your generosity. And let's keep those donations coming for such an amazing, amazing cause. Back to you, folks.
Thank you very much. What did you know? It's another locked room fight. But again, with our health continuously decreasing, what's good about this mission, though, is that it forces every enemy that you kill will drop at least one small green orb. Which isn't going to actually come into handy other than when we have to do a fight. Whereas there's a fight upcoming where we're just going to run through 2 straight rooms, which is where it gets a little bit dicey. So this is the first. We're just going to run through because there's no point in trying to take these enemies out because they're a pain. And similarly, it's the same kind of enemies here. So we're just going to run through. Oh, jeez. That wasn't meant to happen. There we go. So now we're coming to a lock room fight with one of them Hell Vanguards again. Utilising our jump cancels. I'm praying I can get some kills off of the enemies here, just so I can get some health back. There we go. See, it's actually not too bad if we did die here. The only thing that would mean is that when we come to the upcoming boss fight against Geryon, the time horse, we wouldn't have Devil Trigger to spare. We're going to use some of it to come down the stairs here, but we're going to probably come out with at least about 4 stocks so we can still use it in the fight. Geryon's an interesting one. We're going to play chicken with him at first. He's just going to run at us and we're going to have to basically counter him on the way over until we get into phase 2. like so. And the same kind of thing applies, but it's a little bit more of a challenge sometimes, because all of his everything basically on what you can see is a hitbox. So if you don't hit him precisely on his head, he won't go down. And every time we get a cycle like that, he will stop time to basically get away. So what you want to do here is just basically counter with either Rebellion or a gold release, if you can get it. That will stagger him and put him down, and then you can combo off him. If, for whatever reason, you get blocked like that, mash the guard button. You might get lucky and get some perfect blocks and build some revenge meter. But it's better than trying to take that damage head on. Like that. I'm going to be very safe and use that Vital Star. There we go. Got a nice little gold release there and finished him off. I'm going to get a new style there instead of a weapon, the Quicksilver style. We're never going to equip it, so don't need to worry. We never change style. We use Royal Guard throughout the entire one, just because of how overpowered it actually is. Quicksilver as a style, if you have it equipped to go into Devil Trigger, you will stop time. And you can kind of just basically wail on enemies. If you ever seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's exactly like the world. But again, the Royal Guard style, when it goes well, it is very overpowered. But to get the timing down for the perfect blocks and the releases can be quite daunting, especially if you're not used to using it. Like I say, you've got 3 frames worth of leeway there. So this mission, we're going to fight Virgil again. It's the only game where the rule of 3 only applies to one boss. We fight Virgil 3 times. If you played any other DMC game, other than 2, saying that, we fight every boss 3 times. But Virgil's the only one we fight 3 times in this one. And each time he's going to have a new trick up his sleeve. So that Beowulf boss that we fought earlier, if you recall, we never got an item from him. That's because technically we didn't beat him. He ran away. Obviously that's all in the cutscene that we skip. But he finds Virgil. We actually managed to blind him completely. We take his other eye out. But he finds Virgil thinking he's us. And Virgil absolutely decimates him. And instead takes the Beowulf gauntlets for himself. So now when we fight him again, he's going to have those Beowulf gauntlets on. Which is going to increase his moveset by a substantial amount. He's going to start off using the Beowulf gauntlets only. And then he's going to switch to using the Yamato after that. But the same thing applies. We're going to manipulate his revenge values. And hopefully get a couple of phase skips.
And if you are struggling to follow that, we want the bar on the bottom to go down before the bar on the top. And if it goes down by a lot, that's really good. Like if it goes down by a lot at once, that's like the best situation.
This may be fun. You will not forget this devil's power.
I didn't get the phase skip, but it's not too much of a problem. So by utilizing that DTE there, we can knock him out of his Devil Trigger phase.
This may be fun.
Please don't kill me, brother. Brother.
It's 1 hit each. So close.
We'll try that one again, shall we? Okay. We don't want to take his health down too much, but I'm going to build that guard up instead. We might have got it that time, I'm not sure. Yes, we did. There's the face skip. Second time's the charm.
This may be fun.
Basically, by taking his health down to a certain threshold, we skip his devil trigger phase. And he just goes straight back into the fight. There we go. That's a bit of a better fight. That's how it should have gone the first time. So now we roll. So what happens here is that Virgil gets betrayed by Arkham, who we thought was dead. Literally all hell kind of breaks loose. Lady shows up, who we've not seen because we skip cutscenes. And now the tower's massive. So we're going to have to try and find Virgil here and actually stop Arkham. So we pick the Beowulf gauntlets up because we beat Virgil now, so we can now pick those up. And we're never going to take these off apart from one mission later on. And what's great about the Beowulf gauntlets is no matter what costume you have equipped or anything else, the gauntlets will stay on Dante's person at all times, which I find is a really cool thought. And also the gauntlets just look very cool themselves. But again, this is one of those missions that's a perfect time for any messages or donations.
Well, I do have one donation here. It is $10 from Max Gentleman with some very kind words saying, "How could I not donate during the best event of the year?" Which is so sweet. Keep up the good work, guys. Hope you're all well. Well, Max Gentleman, thank you very much for your $10. We hope you're well, too. We hope to see you again in a future UKSG, buddy. But yeah, thank you for your donation. Back to you, folks.
Thanks, Max.
So, welcome yet again to another annoying enemy type. For the simple fact being they are only weak from behind. And they don't like to show that behind. Pause. So we kind of have to try to manipulate them into trying to charge at us. So we can get behind them and one quick combo will take them out. They're not very forthcoming.
I wish I'd kept a pen and paper to keep a tier list of the enemies in the game.
That's probably like, what, fourth most annoying enemy? I mean, they're all kind of tied for first, so. So do you remember those jump cancels that we did with Agni and Rudra earlier? We do them with Beowulf now, except all of the normal enemies are weak to Beowulf. They're all darkness type, and Beowulf is a light type. So literally any common enemy now, Beowulf will do double damage to. And by utilizing the jump cancels, so we can use that move called the Killer Bee over and over again, it makes a lot of these rooms very jumpy.
There's a common enemy type, anything that doesn't have a health bar at the bottom.
Exactly. So the actual health of normal enemies is on your lock-on reticle. You can see there it's going down as we're doing these jump cancels, which I thought was really cool. I mean, the health bar itself came in play in DMC2, but it was kind of like just a bar in the corner, and some of them was very hard to see. Also, the enemy type here, the damned chess pieces, probably one of the coolest enemies in the game. We're going to fight a whole chessboard of these later. I say that, we're going to skip that fight, actually. Utilizing some very interesting holy water usage. I say the biggest enemy is that camera angle. I mean, you don't need to pick that up, but that's a blue orb fragment. If you get 4 of those, you get an extra part of the health bar. May come in handy. Possibly not. And then we're going to go all the way. You see that little portal that's opened up there? That's going to take us back to the very start of the game, believe it or not. In the club that we first did our couple of fights in, that we got the shotgun in. Go back outside to where the Cerberus boss fight was. Grab another holy water. Little stash of red orbs. And there's that mission. So you love to see a couple of sabs on the old ranking there. So this mission is very interesting. This whole mission, in essence, is a puzzle. So now that the 10 degree with the tower that we're in is fully up, it can actually get spun. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to spin the tower around to find 3 pieces of a key item that we're going to need. That's going to power an elevator up for us. I'm not going to say it, but again, another annoying enemy type. You're seeing a pattern here, aren't we?
I've only heard about the chess pieces that you like so far.
Yeah, the chess pieces are the best enemy in the game.
Is that because the...
Because they like to stand still.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it might be that.
So quickly, we're going to hit the switch here, which is going to turn the power on basically for the tower to be able to span around. Now, believe it or not, taking damage in this mission isn't the end of the world, because we're actually going to do a death warp at the end of this one. But you didn't think a Devil May Cry game would have death warps in, did you?
I didn't.
So we're going to hit this switch twice. And that's going to turn it around. So you see these doors with the actual like symbol on for what looks like a carousel. If you go through those doors after hitting the switch a certain number of times, then it's going to get switched around. So the sequence here is 2-1-2-2. And hitting the switches in that order gives us the perfect rooms that we have to be in to get those 3 pieces of the Orichalcum. I can never say that right. Orichalcum? I don't know. The thing from Kingdom Hearts that's really hard to get. But it's very easy to get in Devil May Cry. There's another switch over here, so we're going to hit this twice. Can we also say that DMC as a whole has just a goated soundtrack?
Yeah, I've been meaning to say that the entire time. I was like, this is a really good soundtrack, and I thought about it. I was like, they're all pretty good.
Personally, my favorite out of all of them is going to be 5, just because of the quality of the songs on there. But DMC2 soundtrack does have a special place in my heart. That does have a goated soundtrack. If you take nothing away from this, just know that DMC2 has a goated soundtrack above all else, no matter what you think of the game. There we go. So that's the final switch hit there. So now we can do the death warp, but not before we get that final piece of that key item. We're going to navigate our way through here. Again, doesn't matter if we take any damage, because we actually want to take damage somewhat. There we go. Now we're going to grab this key item here, which is the 3rd final fragment. And then it's just a hell of a lot easier instead of trying to make our way backwards through this. It's just to take a lot of damage. it's also better to take damage in mid-air because Dante's recovery animation's quicker. Yeah, thanks for that. No one saw that, right?
No. But not related to anything I see. Isn't it really annoying when it gives you an extra menu to actually, if you want to change mode?
Yeah.
Shout out.
You want to save time by doing a
Yeah.
death swap? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, you can have easy mode instead, mate. That's fine.
Yeah, have an extra menu.
And that's the end of that mission. So we're actually coming up on endgame now. We've only got about 5 missions left, all with a boss fight at the end of them. So the tower's going to shake a little bit. Mission 16. We're going to find 2 key items here to unlock the door that we started at, one of which is down here. So again, there's a little bit of a puzzle element here. So we're going to bring these 2 balls down, and basically we want them to hit each other so they split. So hopefully if you can get the angle right with a Beowulf dive kick, it just went slightly over. They will hit each other, you only have to hit the one. And we get the Onyx Moon Shard there, which is part 1 of 2. We're going to get a lots room fight with another annoying enemy. But we're just going to give him a little bit of a godly bath. And that sorts that out. And basically most of these rooms we are going to be Devil Trigger running or Stingering through, because there's not a lot to take care of in terms of fighting. We can just run through it apart from this one. A nice little holy water there, just finish the rest of the enemies off. And another one. So we're actually not going to get the item out of this skull like we did earlier with the crystal one. It's just going to open up the area where the golden sun actually is. And once we get that, we're going to get into another fight with the some more chess pieces. They really liked chess in this game. I don't know what it was. Little Devil Trigger explosion then, just to take those out a little bit quicker. So by doing that fight, we get our Devil Trigger back, which we're going to basically keep for the boss of this mission, which is Lady. Now, Lady is a character we actually haven't seen the entire game, because she's only seen in cutscenes. Lady is the daughter of Arkham, who basically threw away his humanity to become a demon and take over the power of Sparta, which is what Virgil wants, but to protect himself. And Dante's just kind of here for a fun time at first. So Arkham's betrayed Virgil and took the power for himself. Lady's gone up to try and stop him, and Dante's basically said, "I'm going to beat you there, so let's have a race in a way." And despite all that, she actually beats us up it. So Virgil even. Lady is a very interesting fight. We're going to go for 2 phase skips instead of just the 1. We're going to hope for this. So she is going to shoot at us first. We're going to dodge, block for, get that Devil Trigger back. We're going to 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 in Devil Trigger, just to get that damage off. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Release 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Never mind. Oh yeah, don't sting her either. Unless it's going for the kill shot like that. Lady's very versatile. Some of the moves that you will do, they won't stagger her, they'll just knock her back. And while she's running around or dodging, she actually has unlimited iframes. So you can't do any damage to her. So you want to keep her in that little bit of a loop where she's blocking and not dodging, which is why we do the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Again, revenge values. And that keeps her in a little bit of a state of just blocking us rather than anything else. We're going to do some platforming, because that's all we want to see in an action game. So, perfect time if there's any donations or any messages, boys.
All right. Well, I have a well, it's a weird person here. $44.20 from Paulister. Yes, and they're saying, like I said, me like round number, which is all going towards the alternative ending and also towards hitting $1,500.
Go.
Amazing stuff. We're about 3/4 of the way to that big 2,000, and of course, which is an amazing amount for such an amazing cause. So, everybody, I helped you out there for reaching 1,500. Let's keep going to 2K. Back to you, folks.
No worries. All right, so remember this room from earlier? It's now harder.
They heard you were using iframes, so...
I don't know why I'm trying to show off the releases here.
Because you love this game and you love mechanics like that.
We do, we do. But instead I'm going to build guard off it for the boss fight upcoming. Because I don't have health. We're also going to... there's a new common enemy type here. That we jump cancel those Beowulf jump kicks off.
Wait, come on, is it a secret? Do you hate these ones or do you like them?
These ones are actually very cool. They're actually really good to build style and guard off of, because you can get them in a constant countering loop. So by using the shotgun on them, you can knock them back and they'll always lunge at you, and the frame rate for that is always exactly the same, so you can get a perfect block and a taunt off in the time it takes them to come back on that counter. So you can build a lot of guard and a lot of Devil Trigger very easily. We're going to come up to our third final boss fight, which is up against Doppelganger, which is literally a copy of Dante. Now this can't take damage unless the light is on him. So we're going to bait him over to these eyes. And once he's there, we're going to utilize those iframes from jumping. Hit him with a couple of jump cancels whilst charging that Devil Trigger explosion you see in the corner there. He's also weak to Beowulf, being a darkness type enemy. There we go.
Really fast.
Very good doppelganger fight there. And we also get his style, so if you were to have doppelganger on and use Devil Trigger, you can basically make this game 2-player. If you utilize the unlimited Devil Trigger costume as well, you can plug in a second controller. I think it might only be on the PS2 version.
Come on, wimp.
I need to restart the mission. I forgot to buy something. I think maybe on the PS2 version only, that you can plug a second controller in, and you can essentially play this 2-player. You won't have exactly the right amount of utility from both players, but it's a fun little neat trick.
That's a crazy Easter egg. Does it say 2-player on the back of it?
It does not.
Okay, that's actually.
There's also a section later on, which when we get to it, I'll explain, where you can use the similar kind of thing. So welcome to the best fight in the game. This is the damn chess piece fight. And it's over. So those enemies don't actually activate until one or two of them have started to die already. But once you hit that first one, if you pop a holy water, they will all activate all at once. I don't really know how it works, but it will activate the king and the queen, and then once the king is dead, like actual chess, you win. So we just go all in and batter out the king. This is what we call the boss rush mission. But now we
fight all the bosses again.
So we only have to fight 3 bosses: Beowulf, Cerberus, and Agni and Rudra. But now we have added mobility, we have Devil Trigger, we have new weapons, As you can imagine, the ice boss is weak to the fire weapon, and vice versa. But they also have a lot less health than they did originally, because this is like a copy fight. It's not the original fight in itself. Oh. So there's the first one down. So you don't actually have to fight them in any specific order. We just like to do, we'll do Cerberus first, then Agni and Rudra, and then Beowulf after that. So the strategies for each one is exactly the same as they were originally, just we have better guarding and countering capabilities. And also the Devil Trigger explosion as earlier.
Will it do the cutscene if you kill one and not
Yeah,
the other?
they will still do that cutscene. So we're going to pray that doesn't happen. As you see, even just in the Devil Trigger, our shotgun cancels do an immense amount of damage. Don't you dare. There we go.
Wow.
Managed to get that counter off at the last second.
Yeah. Does that feel good after missing it the
feels
first
very
time?
good.
Yeah,
It feels very good to not get that
exactly.
cutscene twice in a row. And we're going to go mosey on over to Beowulf and say hello again. This time we're actually going to finish him though. So we nearly got the one phase there. Not too much of a Maeva if we don't. This phase is just very annoying.
Now you have to excuse me, I've only seen the anime, but if you killed them and took their weapons, how are you fighting them again?
The lore is basically this area that we're in the demon world feeds upon memories. So we're basically fighting inside Dante's mind in a way that I'm aware of.
Thanks, you kept me up on the lore the entire run, so I just wanted to...
The thing with the lore with DMC is that it doesn't really matter too much. There's Dante and there's Virgil, and it's a constant struggle. We're on our penultimate mission now, however. So we're going to swap back to Beowulf rather than Agni and Rudra, because that's going to be our main damage dealer. Get those jump cancels off very nicely. Can you not? There we go. So we're going to utilize that to basically skip an entire phase of what would be a puzzle fight. So the enemies in here can't actually be damaged. You want to smash the mirror. So by utilizing a full royal release like that, and then a full DTE explosion, that'll break both mirrors instantly. And off we go. So we want to keep one of these so we can utilize that little blocking and taunting loop that we got him in before to build up our Devil Trigger and also our Royal Guard meter for the boss of this stage. Now this boss is interesting. by which I mean we don't actually fight him. It's the coolest boss in the game because of one thing that happens, but the actual boss fight itself is trash. And considering it's the penultimate fight of the entire game and it's essentially the big bad of it, it's very poor. So we skip it in a way by utilizing those holy waters we've been using throughout the entire run. But first we have to do some damage because otherwise the holy waters won't do enough to finish the job. Okay, so we can only buy 4, that's not a problem. So this is Arkham. Arkham's a blob. So we're going to do a lot of damage as much as we can because he's going to actually go underneath the floor and summon a load of these like eel things, which are a pain. So as soon as he does that, I'm going to pop 2 holy waters. And then we're going to get this little cutscene, and here's Virgil. Now remember I said before about Doppelganger? And you could basically plug in 2 controllers and use it like that. You can do that here and have one person controlling Virgil and one person controlling Dante. It's just very cool. I'm going to do the same thing again, a lot of damage, and then finish with 2 holy waters. The only thing with that second phase with Virgil is you cannot use Devil Trigger and you cannot use your style, because the circle button at that point controls Virgil to bring him to your side rather than utilizing your style action. So welcome to mission 20, the actual final mission of the game, and it's also the 3rd and final time we're going to fight Virgil. So time will end as soon as I get this last hit. The strategy's the same. We're going to block his attacks, take him down to a specific amount of HP, usually about half. And then we're going to utilize that hopefully for a phase skip again. Or not. It's quite good when he does throw that sword at us. Gets us a nice little bit of guard there. Okay, so we didn't get the phase skip, which is unfortunate. So he's going to kind of do this little Super Saiyan kind of desperation attack. Again, Kingdom Hearts, eat your heart out. DMC did it first. Time, even. Couldn't speak it.
Absolutely awesome, mate.
So the strategy for that one is essentially those Killer Bee dive kicks that we've been doing. It doesn't count as exactly to Virgil's revenge counter as the sword slashes do, so you can consistently do that over and over again. By getting him just over half HP and then utilizing a full Devil Trigger explosion, a full Royal Guard release, and then just keep doing that jump cancel on his head, you will skip out his entire 2nd and 3rd phases and be able to kill him in essentially about 30 seconds.
You are the biggest Devil May Cry nerd I've ever met in my whole life.
Well, that was Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition, and I absolutely love this cutscene. I always watch it. With the nice somber music in the background. And there you have it. So we commit a little bit of brotherly love, as if you can call it that. Dante names his shop, finally. Now, if you didn't know, Devil May Cry 3 is actually a prequel to Devil May Cry 1. The chronology is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, 31425. It was retconned slightly in 5, so I might have that wrong. But yeah, Devil May Cry 3 is chronologically the first one in the entire series. Probably the best one in the series, other than Devil May Cry 2, which is obviously the best. It is, it's underrated. It's not just about shooting things, much. But yeah, that was Devil May Cry 3. Big thanks to Apache Smash for obviously helping me out here and just chilling with us and having some banter. Massive thanks to UKSG and ESA for sponsoring the event as well. Massive thanks to everyone in the room. Right now, let's go. Massive thanks to all you guys out there donating. It's a great cause for Crisis. Please do. 1,500 already. You guys have been smashing it. I've been Spent Speedruns. I hope you enjoyed the run. And until next time, guys, take care. God bless.
Amazing, amazing stuff. Thank you very much, Spence, for that amazing run. That was really, really fun and very stylish, if I dare say. Coming up next, we have been planning for this since about a month ago. It is the great big Metal Gear Solid block, starting with Crazy Owl doing Metal Gear Solid the first. But with that being said, that is going to be the end of my hosting shift, and as a matter of fact, the end of my involvement with UKSG so far. And as I promised, I have a 1-year anniversary with my partner, and I need to go home like tomorrow. So,
Can we get a shout out for the 1-year anniversary?
oh, thank you very much.
Beautiful.
That is very kind of you. But yes, I do need to head out and sleep soon. So I'll be passing you over to the ever so capable Fingers to Hand. But until that happens, a quick intermission. And when we come back, more UKSG, more Metal Gear Solid, all the hype. See you then.